Pretty quiet in here today. Can't complain. They got ribs. Our San Juan airport I've ever been in. Good morning. It's the super early morning show version. In Puerto Rico, we're an hour ahead in the States, so it's really early now, so I wasn't going to sleep an extra hour. So welcome. You can see the ocean behind me. It looks kind of black, but there really is. Beautiful setting here on Ponce on the southern side of Puerto Rico. Excited for having a couple days off and then going to have to do some work too. So welcome, bienvenidos, buenos dias. Happy to have you. Now I'm going to show you my room, and my room looks really, really cool. In fact, it looks very similar to my room at home. So let's do this. Welcome. It's the early morning show. Good morning and welcome. The early morning show. Coming to you from Puerto Rico, from my hotel room in Puerto Rico that looks ungodly like my record room. So cheers to you and buenos dias, amigos. Came down Saturday. Sunday now, hoping to get in a round of golf this morning. That's the plan. And enjoy the island for a day. I'll work Monday, and then Tuesday, and then fly home Wednesday. But I want to get down here at least a little early to have one day just to relax because there's all kinds of snow in Midland. It's probably melting now, but it's just the fact that the ground is covered. Yes, it's Cat, and Cat's here in Puerto Rico. He was in the luggage. I'm really excited. Yes, meow. You already were outside. It's snowy. Want to sit? Okay, and Cat's going to sit here in just a minute, and as usual, I use up so much video time with the cat. So, hey, hope everyone had a great week. We got some great records to show today, and we would love to show them if someone could sit down. Cat. Let's begin with my first record. Can everyone see it? Can everyone see it? Cat, can you see it? Jenny Lewis. Jenny Lewis. This is her second solo album. Dude, I'm going to... All right, you won't sit down. There you go. All right, he's just going to pop right back up. Cats just are pretty, they just keep coming at you. All right, her second solo album. This thing just got reissued. This is Acid Tongue. Jenny Lewis was, of course, the co-leader of Rilo Kiley, and which is a group I really like, and I wish they would. They've reissued some of their stuff, but not everything. This album is filled with hooks. It is. It's just there are so many hooks on this album. You have stuff like on the song San Fernando. I mean, and that thing is just. I mean, it's this. Oh, how best could you call it? It's like a gleeful rocker, kind of almost like a rockabilly thing. It just thrashes. It's really fun song. There is Carpetbaggers on here. Where's that one? Yeah, Carpetbaggers, side 2. Elvis Costello sings on it. He sounds a little older, and but his voice I don't think was the greatest, but hey, it's Elvis Costello. She had sung on an Elvis Costello album, so they were on here. Trying My Best. It's a gospel-tinged ballad. Interesting music. There is, where is this one? Songs like Jack Killed Mom. It starts off kind of quiet and just starts slowly building, and the drums crash in, and by the end, the thing is just really kind of rocking. The song Acid Tongue itself, or of course the name of the thing, which I believe is what I'm going to play you a sample of. It is, she kind of like her first album, the Watson Twins. There's this Americana feel to it. The beautiful backing vocals with, they just, they sound great with the harmonies. I would say the issue of this album is there's too many types of styles, and so it lacks cohesion. Kind of popping all over the place. Her voice is beautiful. The music is, it is nice. I really liked this album. I remember when it came out, I had the CD, and it was one I played quite a bit. I thought she did a great job, but it did jump around. It's just like trying to, well, let's do this style, let's do this style, let's do this style. So I would say that was probably the one problem that I had with it, but really happy that it was reissued, that it came out. It is on absolutely black vinyl, Warner Brothers, and there is nothing special. No posters, no nothing, but a reissue. So. We have this, and from the group Chacachas. This came from Richard from Calvinwazoo when he was up here a long time ago. It's just I had to get the album cleaned, and I hadn't cleaned albums in a long time, just kind of didn't do it. But he bought me this, and this is a Jungle Fever. When we went out, we hit a couple of record stores. Had a great time with Richard. He got home back late. He was visiting our relatives. Got back late for the grill out because we were just sitting around talking and having a beer, and a little something to eat. But this is an album, and I used to have this album, I believe, but the Chacachas, Jungle Fever. It's a Belgium group. It is a Belgium Latin soul group. They started in the 50s, late 50s, as a cha-cha group. I mean, you think back in the 50s, cha-cha was big. It was really taking over. And you think easy listening on an elevator or whatever, cha-cha. But jazz brought in cha-cha, which then went into bossa nova. There was the mambo. I mean, it was all these Latin. And, they were part of it. Well, they did this album in 1971, and on here there was their single Jungle Fever. Jungle Fever sold over 1 million copies. Now in the US, they're kind of considered one hit. That was really it. But in Europe, they had quite a few different hits, and they were quite popular here and there. Jungle Fever also got banned in England by the BBC because it has a lot of moaning and groaning and heavy breathing going on. So I think the person singing had asthma or something, because, you can really hear that. So, exciting album. It's something to get, the blood flowing and going. So that was her hit. It's the final song on the side. The album, it does have a lot of great, you do have definitely the Latin going on, which I truly enjoyed. Fun stuff for those that like their Latin. Up next, Raw Power. This is a reissue, and I forgot to see what year. It's a newer one. It's not part of the ones that just came out, but it's off Electra. It was the one I didn't have from the Stooges, and I really wanted it. I had seen an OG, but the guy at the last, I bought the first one, and he had that one. He says, I'm going to keep this one. Dang it. I mean, it would have been costly to get both of them, but I would have grabbed them just because you don't see it. But this is their second album. It came out in 1970. And, what you can say about this is one of the building blocks of the punk movement. So it's a very important album, a very important group. Some love them, some hate them. Kind of depends on where you're at when it comes to punk. The music here, it's raw, it's sweaty, and it's really the Stooges at their howling peak. They really were hitting stride on here. It's very aggressive. It's very primal. That's what you're going to get on this. A lot of the songs, they're playing kind of loose and almost like garage or ravers. You have a song like 1970, and it's just a primal screamer. I mean, Iggy is just going at it. There's LA Blues, and it's like an apocalyptic anarchy happening. It's on the last one. It's like punk rock free jazz. I mean, it's like the sax they got going on. It sounds like they're just he just blasted his head against this. There's the sax. It sounds like they're trying to torture the saxophone. I mean, we don't know what we're doing with it. Just make it squawk, which is what they do. They really tried to capture the live sound of the Stooges, and it took a while. But, they got rid of all the baffling. They put the group together so they could see each other, and they really came up with something really cool. You don't have any of the songs when you think of like Walk the Dog, I mean, not Walk the Dog. I mean, I want to be your dog. You don't get some of those catchy hooks, really, I don't think, on this one. But you do just get this primordial anger happening and aggression. The rhythm section is just fantastic. My goodness. I mean, Scott Ashton and Dave Alexander are right in it, and of course the guitar playing there, and man, I wish I could, of Ron Ashton. It's spot on. I mean, he really has it, and Iggy sounds great. So great to have. Really good album. Fun house. Important pickup. Got a live album here. It's Tenere. I don't say Tenere, but it's Tenere. The E is like the other E's from what I could see. So we're just going to go with that one, okay? And this is live in Paris in 2015, and so it's plus 101. Tenere live in Paris. Just great album. It starts a little slower, kind of more acoustic, and then it breaks into the guitars. And the best I can tell you, it's dance trance. That's what you're going to get. You could get up, you could dance to this, but it's done in such a way with the repetition, with the percussion, that it's very trance-like. There is this throbbing bass and the backing vocals, and a lot of backing vocals are done by females. It's like droning. They're there, they're singing, but it's almost as if it's a drone happening. Very interesting. Nothing super special here on the label. No inner sleeves, or are there inner sleeves? Not really. There's just words on them. Not much. No real pictures. Great. It's a very good live album. There's one song here, Chaga Haya Bao. Yeah, I'm sure that's right. And if with my Tureg, and it is just this guitar pyrotechnics going on. I mean, the guitar playing is wonderful. You know, the acoustic numbers, it shows they can do some other things, but when they get into that groove, when that groove is going, the guitar is just smoldering. You know, and the vocals sound great. Just trance happening. Really good. Live album 2015. This was I wasn't sure what I was getting quite when I picked this up. And this is from Olatamunji, Baba Tunde Olatamunji, Olatunji. Wow. I would be one of those, if I had a job and I had to introduce people, so they're walking in, and you're the guy that's announcing their names. Wouldn't that be a fun job? Can you imagine what I would do? I would absolutely destroy relationships. Who is this guy? What did he call me? What did he call me? I don't know. It's on Paramount. Michael Babatunde Olatunji was born in 27, died in 03. He's a Nigerian drummer, an educator, and very much an activist. His middle name, Babatunde, means reincarnation of father. When his father passed away 2 months before he was born, so when he was born, they felt that he was a reincarnation. And his father was a big deal. I mean, he was in Nigeria. His father was a fisherman, but he was going to become chief. That's what, was happening. And so this was a big deal when Michael was born. But by age 12, he decided, I don't want to become chief. Now, he was educated. And one day in his village, he was reading Reader's Digest. Yes, the famous Reader's Digest in Africa. He's reading that. And he comes across this, an advert or something in there from the Rotary, from the Rotary organization. And it's offering scholarships to the U.S. So he applied. And he got accepted in 1950. Now he's 23 years old, but he got accepted that he could come and go to college. In 1950, he came to the U.S., went to a college down in Atlanta, and began his education. Actually became a professor. He pretty much stayed in the U.S. and taught here. In 1957, he's playing at Radio City Music Hall. And he has a 66-piece percussion band. Can you imagine the payroll on that? Would you ever make any money if you got 66 people to pay? Well, he's playing there in Columbia. Someone from Columbia House is there, and they hear this and go, wow, this guy's great. And so they sign him up. Now, he's in New York, and so this is where he's now playing. And he really became French. You think of, the Latin scene was happening now in jazz, but also the African scene was going on as, they were stretching into new things. He was a good friend of John Coltrane, but not just him. A lot of the other jazz musicians loved him. They loved what he could do. They loved the percussion. Well, this album, so he put out some album. This is his 6th album, Somake Makosa, and it came out in 1973. And it is filled with heavy drums and percussion, but there's these soaring saxes and trumpets that are happening. This thing, there's this really joyful feel, and it's funky. It's wonderful. I saw this just on the wall, and I did not know about him, and I thought, that just looks pretty cool. And my first thought was Hugh Makasala. Oh, forget it. But, you know, I obviously was wrong. I mean, this guy had made music before that. You know, one of his songs was Jingo. Santana to Jingo, Jingo Pa. I think it was on the first album. It was one of Babatundi's songs. So, you know, he was already known, and, you know, people were pulling his work. But this album was just, it's a joy. It's listed as jazz, and there is that, but it's just so much. It's soul, it's funk, just an absolute pleasure to listen to. Really, really loved it. You know, just one of those unexpected wow moments of an album. A few weeks back, probably a month, 2 months ago, I'd shown this Porkopolyps, I don't know, from Gerardo Manuel and Humo Smoke. And this was very much it's from Peru. It was rock, it was psych, it was blues, it was incendiary guitar. It just blew me away. So I went and I bought their second album. And we have it, and it's Machu Picchu 2000. So this came in. I was really excited to get this, you know, because that first album I totally loved. I thought this thing is just fantastic. So I get this. And this is a concept album. It's about the resurgence of the Inca Empire that came after the Third World War. Now, the Third World War, it broke out at exactly 5:36 on December 31st, 1999. So while Prince is singing about 1999, we're just going to party like it's 1999, these guys were singing that, hey man, the Incas are coming back, and we'll just take you all down again. So that's the concept behind it. Now, Gerardo Manuel, very popular in Peru. I mean, he did all kinds of different things. He was on TV. He was just a popular person, and I love that first album. This thing's kind of a hot mess. I didn't find a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. It's softer. It's more folk, more prog. And that may appeal to some. It's for some. Again, this is just my own personal. After that album, that was my expectation. And then this comes and it's like, what the heck? There are none of these face-melting solos that are going on. It is definitely more acoustic. There is some faster-paced songs, but some of it's just kind of boring. Personally, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't happy, but there it is. So I got it. And Machu Picchu. You know, you live and learn. You never know. the first one. Final album, SOS Band. Saw that, thinking, hey, got some funk. I actually never had any of the SOS Band. SOS, Sounds of Success is what it means. It's not Save Our Ship, but Sounds of Success. They formed in 1977 out in Atlanta, and they actually are still supposedly playing. This album was their fourth album, and on Taboo, it's called On the Rise. And it is, it had the hit on here. Oh, let's find it. Just Be Good to Me. Just Be Good to Me was their hit. I can't say I really knew that hit. I wasn't familiar with it. This album, it is 80s funk and soul. It very, very 80s. There is a lot of synth, a lot of key, drum machine happening, going on. Kind of a mid-level dance. There's no burners, you know, that really fast-paced stuff that will make you hot and sweaty on the dance floor. No, not really. I would bet if I get the earlier stuff, I'm going to like it more, but this is just too much of that 80s production that was going into funk that really pulled the funk away. It took it out, because the key to me of funk is that drummer and that bass player laying a groove. A drum machine isn't laying a groove. It's choo, choo, choo. You have to have the funky drummer. You got to have the funky drummer, and it's missing that. So this did do it to me. So a couple albums this week that just were kind of, oh well, you know, I got them, you know, and I probably won't keep them. That's it. Hey, thanks for watching. I need to finish up so I can start stretching so I can go play golf. Like, that's really going to help. But the golf course generally is filled with iguanas. The last time I played on it, I'm over in Ponce on the south side of the island. I love Ponce. It's a favorite town. And the golf courses at the place where I'm staying, so it should be fun. Well, thanks for watching. Everyone, have yourself a great week. Adios. Bye.